Hey everyone, welcome to Homes for Beginners, where I show you how to do repairs around the house yourself. In this video here, I'll be showing you how to make a wall-mounted kitchen breakfast bar style table. For this, I'm using a laminated piece of pine panel. It's 20 inches in depth, 48 inches in length, and 3/4 of an inch thick. This was purchased from a local hardware store. An arch will be used on the wood so it doesn't make a physical protruding edge or affect flow in the kitchen. With the arched outer edge, this will also help reduce the chance of someone hitting themselves. First was marking out the arch. The distance where I wanted the arch to start on the sides along with the center was marked out. A board was then placed perpendicular to the panel. A square was used to make sure everything is accurate. A screw and string are fastened to that board. The opposite end has a loop for a pencil. Finally, that arch is marked out. Reference marks were made on each side to ensure the arch is symmetrical. Using my OEM Tools 24904 seat and stepping stool, with my garage not having a workbench just yet, I'm able to clamp the panel to this, making a suitable work surface for temporarily. This is also a great spot to sit, along with using this as a sturdy stepping stool. Storage underneath, 5 sturdy casters, maximum capacity of 300 pounds, and a steel frame construction. This is a great addition for anyone's workshop. A link to this will be included in the video description to Mobile Distributor Supply. The arch was roughly cut out using a jigsaw. Once done, the arch is then cleaned up and smoothened out using a belt sander. This will take the material down fast, so take extra care when needed. I am also checking the squareness of the edge from time to time. A final step, I used cardboard to make an outline of the one side. It's then cut out, and this can be used as a reference to check the symmetry of the arch. You can also see me using a square on the edge as well, making any adjustments as needed. The edge is then finally cleaned up using a mouse sander, removing any rough marks from the belt sander and giving that smooth final finish. To make a softer edge, the router is used with a 1/4 inch radius bit on the exposed edge. The back side will be against the wall, so that stays square. Both the top and bottom edges are routed with the radius. Finally, the piece is then sanded using 220 as a final finish, removing any imperfections or rough spots in the panel. This part is optional depending on the darkness of stain used. This will have different effects. Here I'm using a propane torch to lightly go over the panel, adding some light burned areas in certain spots, helping highlight the grain. If you decide to use this method, it's best to work on a sample piece first to determine how the wood reacts to the flame. Both sides are done. Once it's stained, the best side will be picked, and that'll be the top side of the table. A final sand is done using the mouse sander and 220 grit. This will soften up any burned areas so they're not overly dark. This is a personal preference. When done sanding, the piece is thoroughly cleaned using a soft brush to remove any dust. Compressed air can also be used if you have access to an air compressor. Now for the staining stage. The piece was cleaned up using a damp cloth. This will help remove any dust as well as opening up the wood so the stain soaks in better. Then let it dry for about 15 minutes before having the stain applied. Now applying the stain. Here I'm using a walnut color. This can is mixed first and then it's applied using a brush. The panel is held up off the ground using 2x4, so I'm able to apply stain to the edge. The stain is applied going with the grain. With the panel being elevated, I'm able to wipe around the edge to remove any drips, which can affect the stain color if I'm planning on using the bottom side when finished. The stain soaks in for about 5 to 10 minutes depending on the desired darkness finish. Then the excessive stain is then wiped off using a clean cloth, again going with the grain of the wood. This will dry for about an hour before applying it to the opposite side. Again, using the same process, the stain is mixed first, and then is applied using a brush going with the grain. The outer edge already has stain applied, so there's no need to go over it. Wait anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, allowing the stain to soak in, then wipe away the excessive stain. This will dry for a few hours before applying a clear coat. The preferred side is then picked, then a clear coat is applied. This will seal the wood, preventing any staining and provide a uniform finish throughout the whole panel. The clear coat is mixed, then it's applied using a brush and again going with the grain of the wood. The clear coat is also applied to the outer edge, and the brush is used to go along the bottom edge, removing any potential drips. This will take anywhere from 12 to 24 hours to dry depending on the thickness of clear coat and temperature. A second coat is optional. I did apply a second coat. This was sanded using 220 grit between coats, cleaned with a damp cloth, and then had the same application process used. After the panel has fully dried, shelf brackets were fastened to the bottom using 5/8 in length, number 10 screws. Holes were pre-drilled to ensure the wood didn't crack. I would have preferred attaching the brackets to studs on both sides, however, due to the position on the wall, one bracket was fastened to the stud, and the other was fastened using raw plugs in the drywall. After that, it's officially done. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to give it a like and drop a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more home DIY videos. Thank you for watching.